Hola, gringas y gringos, and welcome to
Gringos are us.
Expats with a Plan.
I'm Mark.
I'm Gina, switching places.
Oh, that's right. We're on the wrong side.
We are.
Hope that doesn't throw everybody off. Better yet, hope that doesn't throw us off. So we're going to wrap up Progreso with the money. Coming up next.
Welcome back. So today's video is about our cost of living in Progreso for the 2 months that we resided there.
And there's a lot to unpack here. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I think it's because mostly we had some ideas, some concepts of videos we wanted to do, but when it really came down to it, there wasn't enough there to make entire videos of it.
That's a true statement.
So typically in these wrap-up videos, we talk about the things we liked, the things we didn't, and then we give you the money. So we're going to kind of pull in some of those other video concepts into the things we liked, things we didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we expected, but what didn't happen.
Well, and it's only fair because it gives you an idea as to why we feel the way we feel and sort of shows you why we came to the conclusions that we did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a perfect example was we were sort of concerned as to how it was going to be when the cruise ships came to port.
Yeah, we figured it's a cruise ship port of call.
For Carnival Cruises.
We totally had read how sometimes some of these cruise ships as of late were canceling their port of call, and that was negatively affecting the local businesses. So we're like, well, it must make a huge difference when they're in port.
For them to make a public statement about how they're being affected by it, we figured, oh, wow, that must mean that it's a totally different day on the Malecon when the cruise ships were in town. So we had the brilliant idea, we're going to go, we're going to show everybody a regular day on the Malecon and then a cruise ship day on the Malecon.
Right.
We really didn't find that big of a difference.
There wasn't that much of a difference. What there was in a difference between the two would probably be the number of people on the Malecon trying to sell their products.
Yeah.
And even that wasn't that great of a difference.
No. They're typically out there. It's just, it was a different pace. When it was a non-cruise ship day, you could walk the Malecon and you really had time to have conversations with the people out there with their menus and things like that. And they weren't being rushed because there weren't that many people around.
Right.
But if you weren't really down at that particular far end, the far western end by the pier of the Malecon, it didn't change very much at all.
Wow, where are all these people come from? From the wrong direction. So all of a sudden, coming up from behind us were all these people. And we're like, did a bus just let out? But if it did, where did it let out?
There is an artisanal market, a mercado. I looked for days for this place, and people couldn't tell me where it was, and we figured it out one day. While a ship was in port, the ships will get the passengers, and there's a bus that will transport them.
Because you don't want to walk that pier.
Right. The pier's 4 miles long.
Yeah.
So this bus will pick up the passengers and ride them into town, and they drop them off inside this enclosed area where they set up the mercado.
So we realized here at the Alley of Love, this is where these buses are coming in and out of, right here. So we're thinking this is where the cruise ship must be dropping people off. And this might be where the artisanal market actually is that I've been looking for days. Oh, she'll love this.
You are correct, baby.
And here you go. Here is where the cruise buses come to. And that makes sense because they're going to drop people off right here to shop.
So they can spend some money.
Now, when a ship is not in port, that Mercado is never open. It's literally just a parking lot.
Which we were glad because we used that parking lot several times. And it's also right there by the Alley of Love.
Oh, yes, it is.
This is where Adam got crabby, but I don't think I can get Mark to do the crab.
I don't even remember what he did.
He walked like a crab.
Oh, no. I'm too old.
It's okay. In his age, he's naturally crabby.
We did learn a lesson. We were on site at the artisanal market. We finally got there when they were open. And of course, that's when we discovered this is where the bus is dropping off all the people. Now this all makes sense, right? And I wanted to get some things for our granddaughter. And one of the things I wanted to get was a small dream catcher, but I wanted the kind that had the tree of life or the ceiba tree. And they had it. And we asked them how much. And of course, well, they don't know that we're living there. They think that we're cruise ship people. So they shot out, I think they said like $10.
$10 US, yep.
Yeah, and it's a small one, guys. And I'm not trying to knock them for making a living,
No.
but it's a small one. And I'm like, $10, I don't know. So Mark asked them, how much in pesos?
¿Cuánto cuesta en pesos, por favor?
Yeah, he said,
You know,
we
but
live-
vimos aquí. And it was like, oh, 100 pesos.
okay, 100 pesos is
About $6.
a little more than $5.
Between
but-
$5 and $6.
but that's a 40% decrease.
Mhm.
So then the other thing I saw was one of those hammocks, but it's actually a chair, like a swing. And I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool for her to hang under her bed. She's got a stacked bunk bed. That'd be really cool. And so again, ¿cuánto cuesta?
Well, they started out, it was $40,
Dollars.
$40 US,
Mhm.
and that got knocked down to 400 pesos.
400 pesos. So I don't know if it's just that they weren't real quick on the calculation or they actually were just giving us local price at that point. I thought that the pesos was of value. I mean, for what they were asking, I thought that was very reasonable. Now, of course, they were asking more in US dollars because, well, that's, I wanted to say a tourist trap. That's what it is. They're selling to tourists, and tourists don't know any difference. So, of course, they're going to buy whatever's quoted.
And they're also trying to do it in denominations that are easy for people to just give out and they don't have to worry about change. And so
Yeah.
that's another reason that they're going on round numbers. So, I mean, you know, they could have said, you know, $6 US. Well, the odds of them having change,
Right.
you know, if somebody were to hand it, so it's easy to put it into round numbers, and
Right.
somebody may just go, oh yeah, here's a $10 bill, boom, I'm done. So it's a little bit of both. I think it's for ease of transaction. I think there's a little bit of it is going, you know what? They know that the market will pay it. When
Yeah.
the people are in there, they're going, oh, $10 for this? Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, we've been on imports of call. We've bought things that probably were priced higher than they needed to be.
not probably. We have.
You know.
We did that in Merida. Yeah. Just saying.
Okay, that's not a port of call, and that's us just being dumb
I'm
gringos.
just
But
saying.
anyway,
Yeah.
so Progreso. So those are the things that we notice when a ship is actually present. There's a lot more people. I won't say they're aggressive, but
No.
they're a lot more active in trying
Mhm.
to get you to eat at their restaurant. The artisanal market is open, and but the crowds really aren't that much different. And I think what happens is we probably don't notice the crowds because a lot of people come into the ports of call and they're looking for excursions and they hop on whatever transportation they arranged and they're gone. So they're not even in town.
No, I mean, and there were, I mean, we did notice Eladio's Bar and Beach Club, which is right there at the end of the Malecon. They were slammed.
They were hopping.
I mean, they were hopping. I mean, and we did eat there, and it was pretty good and everything else, but they were the closest restaurant right there.
Right.
And bam, they were just rocking. So.
Okay, let's talk about the weather for a moment. I expected it to be cooler than Merida. I expected that because it's oceanfront and it's breezier, which both were true statements. But I did not feel it was really any cooler than Merida. I'm sorry. It felt just as warm there.
Yeah, it was warm. And I mean,
it was warm.
And you have to remember we were there for all of November. I mean, the last week of October, all of November, and the first 3 weeks of December. So you're getting into the cooler part of the year.
This is the cooler part of the year, and it's warm.
It was warm.
Yeah, hot. Let's just be honest. It was sweaty.
it was, I mean, so if you're looking to come down and go, you know what, I want a place to get away from the snow. Yeah. It qualifies.
Absolutely.
You know, it's nice. It did get very breezy at times, and especially on the Malecon. I mean, there's a couple times walking down the Malecon that it was,
it got cold with the wind at night.
Yes, and not only that, it was so bad, with the hearing aids that, if I was turned the wrong way, I couldn't hear a thing because all I heard was the wind blowing through them, and it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
She's going. And I'm like, I can't hear a thing. I mean, all I'm hearing is whoosh in my ears. And it's like, we're going to have to wait till we're inside someplace to have a conversation. So,
Location-wise, I think Progreso is in a really good spot for a lot of interesting things. I mean, obviously, you can always take a ride into Merida if you need bigger stores to shop in.
And it's 25 minutes away.
It's not that far away. It could be longer depending on where in Merida you're going. Progreso is right there. It's close to Chicxulub. It's close to Chelem. It's not that far from Sisal. You just have to take a little deviation. It's close to a lot of archaeological sites that you typically do not hear about. And I wish I could say them all right now, but I'm going to list them so you can see. They're close by. It's close to Laguna Rosada. It's close to Pig Beach.
Yep.
It's I don't know. There's a lot of little things you can do. Easy, cheap day excursions.
And the traffic wasn't very bad inside of Progreso as far as getting around. That was fairly simple.
Easy
except for one thing. Oh, I don't know. They changed the number of our street in mid-stay.
Yeah.
We were actually on Calle 25 when we arrived, and when we left, we were leaving from Calle 75.
Yeah, that's a little confusing. I don't understand what happened there. I heard that the 25 was not originally the correct street number, and somehow at some point in time it got changed to 25, and they were just changing it back. I don't know. Don't get it.
No, and of course, that the day they do that, 2 days later, we've got a FedEx delivery coming, and we're going,
please deliver.
We couldn't find this place with the Google map. Hopefully, whoever is doing the delivery understands that Calle 25 is what is now Calle 75.
Yeah.
Because if they were going by Google, they'd have been toast. So, but other than that, no. I mean, traffic was good. We did stop one time.
Oh yeah, we got a very interesting, peculiar, but suspicious traffic stop.
And, which something that's easy for me, I just looked dumb and stared at him. And, habla español, un poquito. And he started, saying, I kept shaking my head. And Gina was filming it the entire time with the camera.
I was recording.
And so, finally he goes back, talks to his partner, comes back up, and just
Now, here is the scenario. We had a garaged home with a gate. We quite literally had just left the house.
2 blocks.
We were 2 blocks away from the house. We had no speed bumps, no stop signs, and we weren't even really going that fast, to be honest. So there was no reason to pull us over. And yet all of a sudden we have 2 motorcycle police telling us to pull over. We're not even 2 blocks from the house we just left.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have my camera on him. And then they let us go. We still don't know why they pulled us over. We can suspect that it was a potential Christmas bonus because it was just weeks before Christmas.
Whatever.
We don't know. We really don't know why we got pulled over. They let us go. And that was our only time that's really ever happened to us. So that happened. And they were pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't know why they pulled us over. I want to say, okay, so one of the things that I made a comment about in Merida was that I noticed there was a lot of littering on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
In certain parts of Progreso, there is just as much, maybe even more littering on the streets, but you best believe that Malecon is clean.
It's immaculate.
It's immaculate.
The only thing you find on that Malecon is sand.
Yeah. From it blowing up all
Yeah,
over the
that's what I'm saying. That's
The nice thing about the beach in Progreso is they apparently have signage that tells vendors that they are not allowed to sell on the beach,
nope.
but they can sell on the Malecon. So there's that. So if you want a nice, easy day at the beach and you don't want to be pestered a lot.
And to be fair, I mean, that's an easy Malecon to walk and not really be bothered.
It wasn't that
I mean,
bad.
it you compare that Malecon and then walking down La Quinta here in PDC, and it's night and day. I mean, they'd offer, no gracias, and, okay. And we had some good conversations, like I said, with some of the people who were doing the menu. They were bored, literally. And they're, oh, where are you from? Da, 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 da. We'd have a 5 or 10 minute conversation with them. 75% of it in English and maybe 25% in Spanish. But,
So
that was a lot of fun getting to talk to some of them. And we got to eat at some really good restaurants. There are some good restaurants there
really
the Malecon. Now we get to the part where what do you really think about Progreso as far as, would you put it on a list?
Guys, it was relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't deny that. It was very relaxing. Our first week or 2 there, we had a constant intermittent issue of no electricity. And they were working on it. And they did eventually resolve it. But it's just one of those things. When you live in a coastal town like that and you have electrical wiring that is above the ground and you get windy and you go through bad weather spells, this is something that happens. You lose electricity. Now, I don't know what was happening specifically on the street we were on, but it was very frustrating for almost 2 weeks not knowing if I could work.
And it just wasn't even our block. It was, it spread out through different blocks because we stopped at the OXXO one time and I walked in and they were having to hand write every number down because the OXXO didn't have any electricity. So
that was a little frustrating. Okay. Weather-wise, it wasn't so bad, but we did notice one day when we were there with Cheryl and Ray, it started to rain. It wasn't even raining hard. The streets flood, man, and they flood badly. Yeah. It has to be related maybe to...
Well, there's no place for it to go. You're at sea level, so it's...
Right.
Where are you going to put it?
One day, and I still don't know if this is just something that washed up in front of our house or what, there was a bag of poop. I don't know why, but there was a bag of poop. Now, I could say thank you for bagging it.
Yeah, see?
At least it was bagged. But... We never had a bad interaction with anyone.
No.
Even when we were pulled over by the police, they let us go.
Yeah,
So
and we're polite and nice
Yes.
about it the whole time.
people are very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Things I do not care for in that particular location is it's not very convenient sometimes to find the things that you're looking for because they really only have the two main grocery stores and they are very, very Mexican grocery stores. So if you're looking
Well,
for
it should be there
well,
in
yeah,
Mexico.
they are.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, though, the Super Aquí did have some things that we didn't see anywhere else in Mexico that were like, oh, well, that's interesting. They have this.
Well, they have three. They have the Super Aquí, then they had the Soriana across the street.
Yes, they did. And then they had that bodega. Or
Yep. Yep.
But that's pretty much it. Those are grocery options. If you need anything else, you're going to have to drive to Merida. You're going to have to, if that's what you want to do. Unless you don't need those items, and then
Right.
this doesn't even matter to you. Other than that, I liked that it was slow. I liked that it was calm. I just don't really care for. I guess I don't want to say it's isolation. I think it's mostly just that if I want to go to the mall, maybe this is a good thing. It's such a pain in the ass to have to go to the mall that you just say, I don't feel like doing it.
We don't go to the mall hardly
No,
anyway.
I know, but what I'm saying is if you wanted to go buy clothes and then and things like that, you're going to have to go make a trip. It's going to be a 30 to 40 minute drive.
Yeah.
And that's just how it's going to be. If you got to go to the airport, it's going to be a 30 or 40 minute drive. That's
40 minutes to an hour.
just how it's going to
To
be.
the south side of Merida.
The trade-off is that you're living in a very calm coastal location, which is very nice. But also, the rate of inflation in Progreso is shooting through the roof right now.
Well,
And
it's basically tied right there with Merida. I mean,
Right.
because they're only, it's almost like a suburb. I mean,
it is.
yeah, that's,
So I'm going to say, given the heat, and yes, the heat is something that was starting to get to me after 3 months in Merida and 2 months in Progreso, and it hadn't even cooled off, and it was November. I'm going to say no. It's a combination of all the above: the smaller town feel and having to travel to get to bigger town things, and the rate of inflation. And the heat is probably going to make Progreso a no for me.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically very much a small town Mexican feel to it without being very, very small. I mean, it's got all the amenities minus the airport that you could look for. Just didn't resonate. And that's about all I can say is it just was sort of like, okay, it's there. It is what it is. Did we enjoy the time there? Yeah. Were we able
Sure.
to walk on the Malecon? Yeah.
Yeah.
All those things were good and everything else.
Long term, it's a long term thing.
Yeah.
It does blow up during snowbird season. There's a lot more people there. But then these people get to go back to wherever they normally live.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about all the time living there. I don't think it's for us.
No.
No, I don't.
I just didn't quite ever get that. Oh yeah, I could never do I picture myself here 365. That just never quite happened.
It didn't work. I didn't feel it either.
So-
I couldn't see myself there all the time.
Is it worth going to?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This is really, and I totally get why there are snowbirds. See, what happens is you get these people who buy property and they use that as their vacation property. And then when they're not using it, it's snowbird season and they can rent it out to people who just want to come and stay for a few months or so.
Mm-hmm.
So it totally works out. There's a nice symbiotic relationship there. But to live there full time, year round, and as we said it before, we're not really beach people. Do I like the beach? Yes. I love to visit the beach, but things I like to do on the beach, just for an example, is I love to hunt for shark teeth. They don't have shark teeth. It's about the only thing I ever do at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the money. I'm going to be looking to the side as I scroll through here. Again, the goal has always been less than $3,000 a month.
Inflation has made that damn near impossible.
It is damn near impossible, but as you'll see at the end, when we convert this into more of a rent rate, we don't get too far from that. So I'm a little pleased in general. We spent much more money this time eating out than we usually do too. At the time that we started our journey, the exchange rate was approximately 20 pesos to $1.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's about 17. And it goes up and down. It's been as low as 16 something.
Yeah, it was getting in the low 16s, and now it's making the dollar's making a comeback. So it's back above 17. But would we like to see it back at 20? Yeah.
Our Airbnb was a little bit on the expensive side, but it seems like that's how it's been going lately. The rate was 37,293 pesos per month. That comes out to about $21.94 in US dollars.
To be fair, that was one of the better bargains Airbnb-wise that we have actually had.
Because of the space.
There was a tremendous amount of space available. It had all the amenities that we were looking for, short of a washer and dryer. And I mean,
pretty much the most comfortable furniture overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that was a hard one to beat.
Yeah. So for comparison, for example, our Airbnb in Merida was $29.91 USD per month. And in San Luis Potosi, it was $1,400.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's less than half in San Luis.
Well, yeah, but you had the 49 steps to go up and down in San Luis Potosi. So there's a price.
Everything.
Yes, there is.
It is. But it was closer to the Progreso Airbnb was closer in price to the Merida one.
And bigger.
And bigger. We spent 741 pesos for the month in activities. That's about 44 US dollars a month. And for that amount of money, we went to Pig Beach, free.
Yeah.
Went to the nature reserve, not that expensive.
Nope.
Went to,
Laguna
I want to say
Rosada.
Laguna Rosada twice.
Yep.
Not expensive.
Nope.
Went to 2 or 3 archaeological sites.
2.
Yeah.
Writing on Flat Rock and
we can't say the name.
Ushkambo
Escambo was on the day of Laguna Rosada.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that was, we didn't spend a lot of money on activities. Groceries. Okay. So I like to try to keep the groceries around $500 a month, but I don't get too nervous if it's a little more than that. It was 10,554 pesos, or the equivalent of $621 per month while we were there. Now, compare that to what I thought at the time was an expensive place to live, San Miguel de Allende. San Miguel de Allende was only $549 a month.
Well, part of that is San Miguel de Allende didn't have Wang Chung next door.
Well, okay.
I mean,
okay. The Chinese restaurant was luring us to shop at the grocery store.
There were a couple of trips to the grocery store that probably didn't have to get made, but the fact that there was a good Chinese restaurant right next door.
Oh, Lord. And then our insurance is always the same.
Yeah.
We pay for our insurance plans in US dollars. So we have a $32 a month auto insurance for Mexican car insurance. And then we have a $273 a month insurance plan for our Nomad insurance.
Right.
And our Nomad insurance, we'd like to mention this as we talk about it, we have a policy through Safety Wing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a glorified travel insurance, more or less, because what you'll find is traveler's insurance typically doesn't really want to cover you for a month or more. They want shorter policies. Whereas Safety Wing will cover you monthly for up to a year.
Then you just have to renew the whole.
Right.
They give them a new application. They look at you and go, "Oh, you're a year older. We get to raise the rate."
That's what it is.
It is what it is.
But it does cover catastrophic.
Right.
and it'll require emergency evac and things like that. So it's basically a catastrophic plan. Otherwise, we pay out of pocket for ordinary things.
Yeah, and that hadn't been a whole lot.
No. So if you're interested in something similar, you will find a link down below for our affiliate link to Safety Wing. It's down there, baby, I swear.
Okay,
It's there.
you keep saying that.
Okay, so we get to the medical expenses. For a month, 1,490 pesos per month, or $88 per month. Now, what that was $17 in medication per month, maintenance medication,
Mm-hmm.
and $71 in lab work per month. Basically, the two of us went to a lab, videos up here, and we spent roughly 1,200 pesos each to have our annual physical lab work done. And then $17 in medication. Well, to be fair, that $35 really purchased about 4 months of medication,
Mm-hmm.
to be fair.
Yeah,
But I'm putting it in there because that's what we spent.
that's what we spent.
Let's go to personal services. 3,910 pesos per month, or $230 USD. So what was that? Well, we had haircuts, mani-pedis, massages, microblading, and laundry services. We had no washer dryer, so we use Splash pretty much weekly or every other week for our laundry.
Yeah, I mean, it ran every 10 days, give or take.
Okay, this is where it got a little more pricier than we usually spend, because we went to a lot of restaurants.
As you've already seen.
It was 4,455 pesos for our restaurant bills, and that is about $262 per month. That is still not outrageous.
Not for,
$262 a month to eat out, but we ate out a lot.
well, I mean, there was 14 different restaurants that we went to.
Yeah.
And then some of them were 2 times. Well, several of them were 2
Mhm.
times. And one of them was a lot more often than that, but that was,
Yeah. Transportation costs were extremely low because we really didn't drive around a lot.
no.
And when we did have to pay for parking, it was like 20 pesos an hour maybe, or something like that.
Yep.
So we were looking at 1,581 pesos per month, or $93 a month. And that, of course, is if we had to pay a toll when we went to visit someplace. That's gas.
Well, I'm going to say majority of that is the gas
It's
to get
gas.
from Merida to Progreso, which didn't take a whole heck of a lot.
We made a few trips. Made, what, 3 trips to
I
Merida?
think so, 3 trips, and then gas when we left Progreso. So, and gas is 2 pesos per liter higher in Progreso than it was in South Merida. And I've noticed that even while we were in Merida, the further north you went into Merida, the price went north with it. So.
The next cost is our utilities. Typically, these utilities are going to include our cell phone plans and our Starlink. That's usually what it is.
Well, those are 2 you can count on every month.
Right.
Right.
It was 7,271 pesos per month, or $428 USD per month. That is higher than typical because this Airbnb required that we also pay the electric bill.
Uh-huh.
And this electric bill was $194 per month. Now, we paid electricity in Merida.
It wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much.
It was about half of that.
And in Merida, we had one air conditioning unit that was pretty much on 24/7. The only time we turned it off was when we left.
Mm-hmm.
In Progreso, we had an air conditioning unit downstairs, which did not run all of the time.
No.
Only when it got hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would get cold and I'd turn it off. And then at night, we had an air conditioning unit that we would run in the bedroom.
Yep.
We never ran both of them at the same time,
Well, unless I was taking a nap or something.
I suppose.
But no,
the
very
point
rarely.
is that the electricity in Progreso was almost double what it was in Merida. And I have to assume that it might have something to do with being at a higher higher charge rate.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. But, we had to pay the electricity.
Well, and another thing that, they wanted us to run the pool filter about an hour every day. Well, they didn't have that in Merida, so that's more consumption right there.
It is, but
And
they gave us a one.
No, I know. But I'm just trying to figure, tell everybody that there were some things that we were doing in Progreso that weren't done in Merida that may have had a small factor in the price being different.
But the difference between
But no.
Merida and Progreso is in Merida we paid all of the electric, and in Progreso they knocked off a portion of it,
Well,
and
they
we
paid-
had to pay anything above that,
They paid the first 1,000 pesos.
and we paid the rest. So that kind of.
It sort of sent me for a shock when she started putting together the numbers. Let's put it
It
that
wasn't
way.
as high as we thought it was going. It was higher than we thought it was going to be. Let's just say that. Okay. So what this budget final, the total at the end, never includes his cigars, our streaming services, any gifts that we bought,
Yep.
our mail forwarding, and it doesn't include any subscriptions that we have, even if it's subscriptions to run the channel for different things.
Right.
Never includes any of that because those are not typical living expenses for everyone. What it does include are our accommodations, our activities, our groceries, insurance, medical expenses, personal services, restaurants, transportation, and utilities. And for that, the grand total was 72,578 pesos
Per month.
per month.
Ow.
It's kind of high. It was higher than we thought.
Yeah.
$4,269 USD, or $142 per day. Something that I want to show is, in comparison, San Luis Potosí cost us $3,214. Merida cost us $4,490.
Progreso went really close to Merida at $42.69 a month. So
And when you compare the three so far, honestly, San Luis Potosí was the least expensive and Merida the most. So what if we were paying rent and not an Airbnb? Well, the 72,578 pesos becomes,
just a mere 53,932.
and 4,269 US dollars becomes
31.72.
$142 a day.
Drops all the way down to 102.
It makes a huge difference. So while my dream is to try to get our budget at $3,000 a month or less, if we were paying rent, we're really not that far from it. It would be about $31.72.
No, and if you take out, if you change it to rent and you were to normalize that CFE bill, it'd be pretty close.
Yeah, it would be.
I mean, because that CFE bill was a kick in the butt. So
The CFE bill was about double probably what it should have been.
So that would have put us within sniffing distance of that
I agree.
3,000.
I agree.
So, is it doable? Yeah. Is it getting harder to achieve? Yes,
It
because
is.
we started putting together, future coming up stays at Airbnbs, and the prices just continue to escalate, just like everything else that all of us are experiencing. Wherever you're at, the price of everything is rising,
It
and
is.
it's true down here as well.
It is.
So,
I mean, we've seen some Airbnbs that have almost doubled in a year and a half.
yep.
So, yeah. Linda, there you go. That is our likes, our dislikes, and that is how much money we spent for 2 months living in Progreso.
It was 2 months well spent, though. I will say, I liked it and everything else. Just not where I want to be the rest of my life.
No, I don't want people to think that I was unhappy with the stay.
No.
I was not.
Yep.
It was a very relaxing
Yep.
stay. It's just not someplace I think I want to be for
No.
the rest of my life.
And that's the purpose of this whole thing is, there's some places that have really captured us and gone,
Mhm.
I could, both of us have gone, I could stay here and not have a problem. And
Yeah.
there's others gone, we've had a great time and everything else, but not going to be where we're going to stay the rest of our lives. So
All right. So that's the wrap up for Progreso. The next big wrap up video you can look forward to is going to be our year in review.
All the money.
All the money across all locations. Where do they stack?
Oh my God. We're going to share it with you coming up on the next video.
Indeed. So thank you for tuning in and supporting our channel. We really appreciate you being here. We are Gringos Are Us.
Expats with a plan.
Remember, we're doing it. You can too.
And there's some videos that you might want to check out.
Right over here.
No. Really?
Hasta la próxima.
Adios.